just came to play for the money. On 7 good ponies and some damn good swing. So get your team together, get fired up. So I can have a chop at you at the Inverell Swan Cup.
Hi everyone, welcome to the 15th Swan Cup video podcast. My name's Alex Wrobel from the Inverell Polocrosse Club, and so far we've completed a video podcast each week in the lead up to the 2021 Inverell Swan Cup. It's an exciting podcast this week because this will be aired on the day that our nominations close. So the Swan Cup is going to run from the 8th to the 11th of July 2021, and our Open Men's Polocrosse and Sale nominations are currently open and closed today on the 10th of May 2021. I'm here with club member and leader of our Swan Cup, Cameron Neville. How are you going, Cameron?
I'm great, mate. How are you?
Yeah, going good, thank you. And our special guest this week is Scott Keogh from Keogh Horsemanship. Thanks for joining us, Scott. How are you going?
Mate, awesome. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Excellent. To get us started, Scott, you're a horse breaker and trainer located out of Clifton in Queensland, and you offer a wide range of services from horse breaking and training to clinics and private lessons. What's your main discipline and how involved have you been in the polocrosse scene?
Mate, to cut a very long story short, my mum's family were all horse breakers and trainers, and in Warwick there, they were sort of heavily involved behind the scenes, I guess you'd say, working a lot of the horses for the Frasers, the Shepherds, things like that. And I come along and I played for the Warwick Club as a junior and had a great experience. The Warwick Club was very good to me. I ended up playing in a Queensland junior side, which won a nationals in Werribee in '96. But then I went away working and I've never played again. So I guess you could say I'm just a fan, and got a lot of mates that still play.
Excellent. And as far as what you do now, what's your main interest at the moment, main discipline?
At the moment, I'm really enjoying competing in the Stockman's Challenges. So there's a lot of different challenges out there, but basically the ones I do, you've got to do the reining and the camp drafting.
All right, excellent. You've been involved with sales and using the agents Nutrien Equine. What kind of confidence do they bring to vendors and buyers for our sale, do you think?
And I think they've really changed the game, Alex. You don't want to not be involved in the incentives that they're offering. But they've been going 15 years now, mate. I think nothing happens overnight. But once you put a horse through the sale and follow the hammer, that was it. Where now we get to come back and play. Last week I was involved in one in Toowoomba that Nutrien put on. It was great. I bought an ex-sale horse out there, and you just see what the Landmark Classic has turned into. It's a beast all of its own.
Yeah, for sure,
mate. And with that sale just at Toowoomba that's just finished, another good lot of results, and that sale there, it's growing every year too. And you see yourself like you'd have horses at home that you can't take to those events that you'd probably like to use, but the reason why you're going back is basically truly only because of the incentive.
Absolutely. You don't want to not be involved. If you had the choice of paying an extra, couple of $100 for the ring, you wouldn't be bothered doing a side deal out the back. You want to be able to play in those incentives.
Yeah, and do you think, so you're a competitor who wants to come back and compete. So as far as our sale goes, like them top fellas coming down to playing an open men's comp, you'd be thinking to yourself, well, if I'm playing in an open men's comp, should I be trying to buy one so I can have a crack at both comps? Like if I'm going to be there watching, is that the sort of train of thought you'd have?
Yeah, absolutely. I think yours is a little bit different where a lot of these other incentives are age-based. The classic and things like that, where if you're looking for a good open polocrosse horse, how many times have maybe yourself, you've been there and you watched a horse in a draft and thought, well, he might play, but I don't know. Here you can come down like, yeah. Was Hayden selling the one he entered on? Is that what I heard?
Well, he's talked about it, and I don't know if he has actually entered it yet, but that was the horse, in the way that he said he was going to go about it. He goes, the best exposure I can give my horse is playing it in front of the people, and, you know, hopefully they like the way it goes and he goes well on it and puts it to the ring.
Yeah, you can't ask for much better test than that, can you?
And you've seen what happened at Berragoon. You see what happened at Berragoon, where, you know, they've had one sale. Now everyone wants to be a part of it next year. I think their first incentive was this year. Now, like a bloke like Bronson Macklinshaw, for say, he wants to play in that next year because he was there watching it and didn't get a team together. So we really hope that's what happens at our show. If we can just have our first one, get it off the ground. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day. We can get it running, have one, and then just get these top fellas pushing it, and people who come to buy a horse who may have never even known that a horse of that caliber could be for sale, you know, so, and put it into an auction system and just see how it rolls.
Yeah, mate, I think it's great. I mean, I'm obviously not playing myself, but I mean, you could walk around Morgan Park all weekend and not know what horses are for sale. Here you can sit on the sideline and they're there for sale.
Yeah, for sure.
Mate, back to your day, the training days, I want to get into you with that, you know, starting horses off and how we get a horse to, you know, from breaking in to getting it to the field. And I know you're good mates with Hayden, and I know he's got a lot of your equipment in his shed. Is there any little tips from a polocrosse point of view to what you wouldn't do as to go into the cattle side of things, just to go to the field? Have you got any little tips for us going forward there?
Well, mate, I wish I did. Look, it all starts with a well-bred horse, plain and simple. A horse that's bred for that job. And you see the way the Smiths and now the Grillses, they've got polocrosse breed. You know, it's not just a case of, you know, you had a Abbey or a Romeo bred horse and you hoped you'd play. So that would be my first thing going forward is his mother and father, or his mother had to have played. If Wayne Bennett's going to a new franchise, he doesn't say, you assemble me the biggest bunch of derelicts you can find, and I'm going to show you how good I can coach. He doesn't do that. I mean, I think they're very affordable. You know, obviously prices have jumped lately, which is awesome for the industry, but a young guy could go get a gelding, you know, young gelding at a grill sale for a reasonable price and be streaks ahead of going through things off the track.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you know, I couldn't agree more. And we hope that with having the stock horse, you know, behind us and a fully affiliated sale, a lot of them have said, "Oh, we can't use our thoroughbred mares and stuff like that we go down." But it's just how we're going to have to run our sale going forward. But what about getting them to the field, mate? Like, what about riding them different? What about do you put a ball on them the first day you get them home? Do you give us an insight to how you'd get a horse to the field?
Well, I definitely put the racket on first ride. That's the same as a stock whip for us guys. They don't know it's anything new when you do it the first time. And then I think things split, and this is where it gets really confusing. Let's say on one side of the coin, you've got foundation training, you know, flexing, side passing, whatever, just good, wholesome horsemanship. And then on the other side of the coin, you've got event-specific training. So you imagine if some girl or guy comes up to you and goes, well, I'm going to train a trotter, and I'm going to teach him to cross a creek. I'm going to teach him to crack a whip. I'm going to teach him to lie down. And I'm going to go, yeah, that's all awesome, but he needs to get in the gig. He's going to learn his job.
Yeah.
And that's when I first went to Edenhope with Bernie and Hayden. I saw them teaching horses their job. And I've hit a crossroads lately myself, now that I'm camp draft a little bit, where my horses might know this much, but they need to know a lot about this much. And just get things more specific with what is about to happen to them. So, I mean, you could go to the Stock Horse Nationals or the Reigning Futurity and get the best stopper, the best spinner there. That doesn't mean he's going to win best pony at Polocrosse the following weekend, because he needs to be showed what's on the menu. If that makes sense.
So where I'm leading where I'm leading, mate, with all that is, like it takes a lot of effort, doesn't it, to get a horse that's 3-year-old and going. By the time you get him on the field, he's had 5 or 6 games. He's 3 parts fit. He's fed and rugged and shod and going properly. How do you add that to the value of a horse? Like you've got the Grills's breed and the Eden Hope breed. So I'm going and buying a horse that's bred to play, and then I've got a fella like Hayden Turnbull that's been riding it and breaking it in and got it to the field. Like, how do you value that from a person coming to a sale to buying a going horse? Like, is it worth 20 grand? Is it worth 5 grand?
Mate, it's got to be. I think you seriously get about 50 cents an hour for training these horses. You're sort of glad you don't add it up, really, the time spent on them. And I think our lifestyle's changed, guys, where, if I'm toiling my butt off, butcher, baker, candlestick maker, whatever, and I actually get to have some recreation, I'm not putting up with a dink. I'm there to enjoy myself. I'm there to be competitive. I could see no joy in this thing that won't line up and won't pull up. I mean, I'd be happy to pay for the training.
Yeah, and I think that's just part of nearly society at the moment, isn't it? Like everyone's busy and finding other things to do. So if you can find one going, and it's 5 or 10 grand more than what you want to spend, it might be better than having $4,000 or $5,000 ones. You should just have one $20,000 one.
Absolutely, mate. Like, there's just zero substitute for horsepower. There's just none. Look at Luke Saul. Like 5, 6, 7 years ago when I first met him, he was just this kid following Hayden around, and then I seen him on that really good chestnut horse. Was it Macca of Daryl Smith's maybe?
Yeah, Macca.
Maybe Sporty before that. And Luke grew a leg. And then the next good horse. And he's top handful players in Australia at the moment. Due to horsepower is a lot of it, Obviously, he needs credit too, but you can't do it on a camel.
Yeah, definitely not.
No, and look, and at that elite level too, mate, like it seems to be the same fellas there, or thereabouts, and they know themselves, like if it's not happening, we'll just get another one that does happen because they want to keep themselves up there, so I suppose it all comes back to that breeding.
Yeah, and look, they know they can't do it on foot. There's a lot of people probably wore a rep jersey once and never again, where the Haydens and the Will Westons, it's nearly a given, that Jimmy Grills is that they turn up in them rep teams every year. They've always got a horse coming on. And they don't make those sides by accident.
Yeah, for sure. So at our event, we're going to have teams travelling from all over the country to compete. And when they arrive here in Inverell, they're going to battle it out against some of the best in the business, and they're all vying for a share in $20,000 in prize money and prizes. Does it make you want to join a team and pick the racket back up and come down and have a go, or?
Oh, I don't think they got a grade low enough for me, mate. But you know what? I think it's great that Polocrosse, the best part about it is there's A grade to Z grade. I think that's the best part about it. Where the mum and dad can barely pick up the ball, but the kid goes well. There's a level for everyone, but it's great that the elite are getting to butt heads and are having some exciting competitions. Like guys like Hayden, they don't want to play club polocrosse anymore. They've done it for 20 years. And I think the money's great. If you get third place in the under 10 bend and flag race at the Inverell show, you win money. But for some reason in polocrosse, money's taboo. Yeah. And you've got your horse as fed and as fit as the local thoroughbred. And money's just a bit taboo. And I'm not saying it needs to be there or not there. I'm just saying it has been a taboo subject for a while. But, I think it's great that these guys that have worked so hard to get to the level they're at can say, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, there's no doubt about it, mate. In polocrosse, you can see, you can go to the bar on a Saturday night and have a beer with Hayden and Sully and all them fellas and Jimmy Grills and any of them fellas, and they will talk to anyone and they will talk to you about polocrosse and have a good time doing it. It's just that they're better on the field. And if you want to come and actually watch them go toe to toe, I think it's like fellas picking their own sides, which some people aren't fans of, and some people are. I think every now and then it's a good thing, and I think what we're going to try and do is not hold the top fellas back. We're going to try and bring the other fellas up to them. We're going to try and bring the fella who may be in a struggling club, who's normally just used to playing B or C grade. He goes and finds himself in the side with bloody Justin Hafey and Trent Collins. Well, then all of a sudden he's matching it against Jimmy Grills and Will Weston and them fellas, So we hope it gives them fellas who are fighting for spots in them top state sides and international sides and zone sides. It just might mean that changing of the guard a bit,
Absolutely. And you take like and I'm out of touch now, but let's say there's a really good young player at Inverell and you guys have only got a B grade side. Well, what do? He's nearly got to jump ship and join another club to play Sunday polocrosse, doesn't he? Where this, this is nearly his nationals. He gets to grow a leg by playing with them better guys. So yeah, great. I think it's great.
And do you think back to the classic days, how it started off, and even Toowoomba, was there as much hesitation about having one, or was there excitement about it? Like, can you remember those days? How getting them off the ground? What people were thinking.
No, I really can't. I wasn't there, mate. I've got 2 show horses in work, and I know one of them. He's a 9-year-old gelding now. He was bought for $750, and his earnings are at $40,000 now. So it's just been great that the lady who bought him bought a gem, bit of a Kentucky Derby story, really, on a small scale. And that horse is eligible to go back next year. They're talking about a $50,000 open draft, So and against relatively small fields, there's a good chance that them owners can win some money back.
Yeah, for sure. And I think
we hope that happens.
I think that's one of the benefits of what we're doing is, especially in the first year, getting in on the ground floor. It's probably the best time to buy a horse and come back for the incentives, because we're going to have a limited pool of horses to work from. And that, to me, that's just pure numbers that gives you the best chance. The less there are in the competition, the more likely you are to win. So for me, that seems like the best time to get involved.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I hope it's well supported for you guys. Everything different, everything new is weird. Everything you've ever done new in your life's weird. So, but I hope people say, well, let's give this a go and really support you fellas.
Yeah, for sure.
So, mate, have you got any thoughts on Charlie Holcomb of late, or anyone, on how they might be going?
No, all I can say is you've got to have a really thick skin to be in our crew. We give as good as we get, and it was just Charlie's turn last month. It was just his turn. I'll probably get the whip in the yard somewhere, and it'll be my turn. So no, Charlie does cop it, but you just got to give as good as you get around here.
Well, we hope you keep giving it out, especially in the build up to our show. Like, start picking on them a bit and fire them up.
No, all good banter, mate. We was just saying a day without a shared laughs and wasted day. So so Charlie did copy share, but he took it well, and took it like a man.
Did you get along to Warwick and see him pull on their say jersey, or?
Mate, sadly I didn't, and he was playing a horse I sold him too, and I haven't seen that mare since I sold it to him. But I was away at a clinic working, and getting back to that Barrastock Carnival, it's along the lines of an elite carnival. I go there every year as a fan. Every year I go to that carnival under lights. Bring mum, the kids, and have a drink or whatever. I truly enjoy it. But the following weekend, when there's a carnival 15 k's away at Killarney, Toowoomba, or Cunningham, I don't go. I don't want to watch Warwick 1 play Warwick 2, or Tansey 1 thump Warwick 1, or it's a foregone conclusion. But I truly enjoy watching the elite of the sport.
Yeah, for sure. And I think
that happens in nearly every sport, doesn't it?
You can watch the elite of table tennis if it's the elite, isn't it? It doesn't really matter. But yeah, no, I'm a fan of the elite polocrosse. You go there and you admire the horses and the players. So I really hope you guys have got a good thing going there.
Yeah, thank you.
Makes two of us.
All right, so just a bit of a reminder before we go, our event's going to run from the 8th to the 11th of July 2021, and our Open Men's Polocrosse and Sale nominations opened on the 19th of April and they close today, the 10th of May 2021. Scott Keogh, thanks for joining us on the Swan Cup podcast.
Cheers, thanks for having me, guys. Much appreciated.
So I can have a chop at you at the Inverell Swan Cup.